Hello, everyone. It's been almost a month since I made a video like this, and to be honest, I think that it's for a reason that a lot of us are feeling. Um, but just to speak from my own personal experience, since having a somewhat dramatic falling out with a friend of mine in April, felt inspired to really create in all directions, not just be a musician, but also like make videos talking about my healing journey, short form and long form, making little hiking videos with inspirational quotes that I resonate with, hoping that others will too. Musically, working on 4 records at the same time, 3 of those records coming out this year, 2 are already out, and planning on making my first ever movie with a friend of mine, while also playing out regularly, also taking on projects on Fiverr, whether it be vocal projects or people need songs written and stuff like that. And these are all very exciting. And in the beginning, I had a lot of energy for it, but I think very predictably, I'm finally hitting a wall. And because on top of that, in my personal life, I've been doing yoga every day, meditating every day, going to the gym every day, eating very healthy, intermittent fasting, and doing a lot of different things. I've just been feeling called to, whether it be echoes of unhealthy habits of coping or whatnot. But I've just been feeling called to kind of slow down in certain areas, or give myself a break in certain areas, which, when I list off all the things that I do, it sort of makes sense to most people. But I think that the reason why I'm feeling this burnout, and why it might seem relatable to a lot of you watching right now, is because of the achievement culture that we live in, whether it be what we see online or just the society that we live in at large. We feel like we need to be somebody. I know that I, since day one, always felt like I needed to become somebody in order to earn the right to be loved, or earn the right to even exist or be appreciated, or who's gonna care to listen to me unless I somehow prove myself, right? Or who would want to spend their time, and we all have finite time. I think that's another thing that ties into this achievement culture thing, is that because we're all incredibly driven, because I know I'm not the only one, we're all incredibly driven to succeed, to be seen, to be appreciated, to be heard, that it's really absorbed what little free time that we have, that it's impossible now to waste our time. Although our coping for the way that we are, running around is essentially wasting time, whether it be, binge watching stuff, or like I've spoken about plenty of times in these types of videos, like just overindulgence in our vices and the things that, help relax us and take our mind off things. I've been reminded that a lot of the ways that we cope isn't really taking a break necessarily, because we find boredom and the absence of doing something as a painful experience that we need to somehow get ourselves out of. So therefore, we're becoming neurotic. We are creating our own mental health crisis, essentially, by not only overworking ourselves to make a living and to be seen and to be appreciated, but also we're creating this crisis by, in order to take a break, to continuously overact our minds by indulging in activities that keep us overactive and that keep us distracted. And there's like, I think there are people, plenty of people that watch this video that do go on peaceful walks in nature or do sit in meditation. So, you know, this isn't like a black and white issue, but I do think that the majority of us do find ourselves just coping by overindulging in food or alcohol or whatever it is, you know, like and it's a tale as old as time too, because the idea of like working for the weekend, well, what are you doing on the weekend? The weekend you're like partying, or, you know, like you're going out somewhere. So it's like indulging in shopping or indulging in whatever it is. And I don't think there's anything wrong with indulging in vices if it gets you through the day. I just know that for me, in my own experience, that like when I give in to a lot of these vices, I tend to lose myself in them. So there's, I have a hard time with self-control with certain things. So I know that certain things just don't work for me. If you could make it work for you, but like have the self-control and the self-awareness to know when to cut it off or when to take a break or when enough is enough, then I think that's great. But, you know, just tapping into like how my body feels. My body does not feel great when I'm like eating like a whole pizza by myself or like a whole like tub of ice cream, just because in the moment it makes me feel better and it makes me forget my problems and stuff like that. Like none of that is a rational way to cope. You know, but then the opposite of that, because I'm noticing that like, and this might be relatable to most people, but I'm noticing that I cope with extremes with other extremes. So, oh, well, I can't eat unhealthy, so I'm only going to eat healthy, you know, and I do give myself like little cheat meals here and there, you know, like, oh, you know, I haven't had nachos in a while, or I haven't had this in a while. So it's not so extreme, but like, say for example, you know, I take working out so seriously, or I take meditation so seriously that I'm doing it every single day. At a certain point, it starts to feel more of an obligation and less of a thing I just want to do. And I think that there are things in this life that we're meant to do that will just better our lives, that maybe initially we don't want to do them. But I don't think we're meant to actively torture ourselves with things that we don't want to do, in the idea that it's going to improve ourselves. And this is where like self-improvement culture can become a little bit toxic. I've been part of like the self-improvement and spiritual circles for like 12 years now, and as helpful and as insightful as a lot of it has been, there are toxic cycles that you could fall into that you're basically right back in ego yet again, where, you know, like and this is why a lot of people tend to focus on the toxicity of social media, for example, because it's all focused on you. And when you're looking at other people, your engagement with that is based off of how it compares to you and where you're at. Like a lot of people follow people that they inspire to be like, whether it be because of their looks or their fame, their money, or, you know, whatever it is. So, and then there's the creatives like us that, you know, we just want to like share our art with the world, and we want to reach as many people as possible. And so we get caught up in the rat race of like, well, we need to post X amount of times a day or X amount of times a week, and this kind of content works, this kind doesn't, and, you know, should I try and do this even though it doesn't resonate with me, you know, like, because it's not enough to just be a musician that writes songs anymore. Like, we need to go out and perform live to promote them, or even more so, we need to post online engaging content that kind of gets more eyeballs on our stuff. And like, that's one reason why I decided to branch out personally, but like branch out in ways that resonate with me. Like, I'm not trying to think of like a TikTok trend that I could hop on. Whether or not it would work for me, I know what resonates with me, and the type of art that I make is what I should be doing. But now we're getting into the mentality of should versus can. I can do this, which is more positive and uplifting, or I should do this, which is more shaming. And so, as much as I agree with working hard and persevering, how much of my perseverance has been fueled by shaming myself? And so I think that this is a key factor in the mental health crisis that we've created for ourselves. We have become our own punishers. We've become our own worst critics. And instead of, we don't have to like gleefully in like a, mind-numbingly positive way of move forward with the passions and the projects and ideas that we have. But like I think that there's a more authentic way to do it. And I don't think it's authentic of any of us to say, we should be doing this, we should be doing that. Like, I've even given advice to some people like, oh yeah, you should do this, blah, blah, blah. And like, not realizing that just like, it's kind of like pushing people to do things they may or may not want to do. And I think that like, they're like, once again, going back to my own perspective on work, like I do think there's always going to be things that we don't want to do that we need to do in order to get anywhere, like waking up and going to some job or whatever it is. But like, I think that it needs to come from an authentic place, and shaming ourselves into thinking we should do this or we should do that. I know that for me, like that creates like a level of pressure that makes me not want to do it. It feels more like an obligation. Whereas like in the beginning, oh, I can do this, I can do that. And that's why I started making videos like this. This is why I started like going on Fiverr. I went from thinking I couldn't do something like this to thinking I can do something like this. And then to keep the momentum up, it shifted from can to should. And I don't think I should be making these videos. I just think that I can. Therefore, I do. Now, should I make these videos like this on topics that are a little bit more broad, that will get more eyeballs and more traction or whatever? Maybe. But is it something that I want to do? Like, I need to... And we all should do this. I need to check in with myself, like, what resonates with me? I know that because I've taken so much time away from making long form videos talking about certain things, that I decided to just not do it. And to be honest, I'm not contracted with a record label right now. I'm not expected to put out like 2 or 3 videos or like a certain amount of records or any of this. Like I'm independent fully. So like I have, and most of us are actually. So like we forget about the algorithm. We have the ability and the freedom to put out stuff whenever we want. Now, don't let that turn you into the kind of person that like puts things off forever and never puts anything out. Like eventually you do. But I, like a lot of us, have the opposite problem where like I feel like I need to constantly be putting stuff out, and I feel like I need to constantly be making stuff and constantly. But the thing is that like you could post once daily and that could be enough. Like I'm posting 2 to 3 times daily across all platforms. And after doing that for like basically a full year straight, no wonder I'm feeling burnt out. And that's just with content creation. That's excluding Fiverr, that's excluding recording myself, that's excluding performing out live. And also my day job too. So I think that there's nothing really to prove. Like, the art will speak for itself. Whatever we have to say will speak for itself. We don't need to constantly feel like it has to be done this way. Like, we need to work ourselves to death in order to be worth anything. I know it's easier said than done. And I think emotionally, it's going to take a personal epiphany in order to feel that truth. But at least logically, let's get there. Because I think we're already there on the same page. I think all of us feel tired. All of us feel like it's not enough. Like we need to keep going. And not just keep going, but we need to do more. And I don't think that's true. I think that the truth is just do what makes you happy. And that is enough. And anyone or anything that makes you feel like that's not enough ain't it. So don't worry about like, well, if I make sure that I do this, then I'll go viral. I'll make sure I do this, then I'll reach people. Like you're gonna reach people as long as what you're doing is authentic and real and is not forced. And there's nothing more forced than someone that's creating stuff because they think they have to. That's the most inauthentic thing. And speaking from experience, because when I started songwriting, I was making stuff that I thought needed to sound a certain way and look a certain way in order to be, in order to reach people. That's not the way to do it. And even if you do it good, you're just doing it with someone else's voice. So who are you? So with that said, I hope that this video was illuminating in some way for you. If you have any I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Let me know how this video either shook some things up for you or challenge me. Like there's certain things that I might have like touched upon that you disagree with. Like let's continue the conversation. And yeah, I hope you have a good day.